So welcome everybody back here to the Gammain Sports Ground today for this Lions clash against the Riverina Eagles. Pretty cold afternoon, the wind's in the south, not too bad though, but don't think we'll see much sun. We haven't seen any of it today. Back here once again, so we've got once again Baz with our images and all the tech gear, and our man Andrew Corbett to call the game for us today. So Andrew, the Lions last week went across to Mango, and I think the stat was that we haven't won at Mango since 2012. Was that correct?
That'd be correct, Guy. Yeah, it's been a long time since the Lions have gone across to Mangapla and had a victory, but came away with the spoils on a Sunday. We've never been beaten over there on a Sunday before, and able to come away with a 4-point victory and a come from behind win in that last quarter. It was a very tight game all day, very hotly contested, and the Lions came through with the goods in the end to give them a 4-2 ratio, 4 wins, 2 losses in the game so far this year. And today they come up against the Riverina Eagles, who are winless in their 6 games so far this year, but they haven't been easy beats. They've been able to score over 50 points in all their games this year, and even have been able to win some of their quarters, particularly against Coolum there a couple of weeks ago. And so they've got probably one of their strongest sides in today, with a few recruits from Canberra in Jack and Tom Powell, and of course one of their key players, number 17, Luke Mackay, in their side today. So I'm looking for a game that could be pretty even. Gammain have been forced to bring in 6 players from that victory last week, and we've got 3 new debutants today for the Lions. Joe Foley, youngest Foley of John and Angela, which he'll make now 5 Foley boys that have represented the Lions in first grade football. Joe's been going well in the under 17s the last few weeks, kicking bags of 6 goals over the last month. So looking forward to seeing how Joe goes today. Also coming in is Nate Hamlin, youngest son of Scott and Kylie Hamlin. So he's only 16, Nate, but very talented young fella, and been playing across halfback in the under 17s. And also today making his debut is Jackson Connolly. Now Jackson is first year at Gammain, played a few permit games last year in the under 17s. He's had a pretty good week so far. He captained the successful Carroll Cup side Kildare in the Carroll Cup on Wednesday night against Mater Day. And for those old supporters of the Gammain Maroons, Jackson is the grandson of Leela Carroll. So there's a bit of a connection there to the club. And obviously, of course, on Wednesday he was playing for his great uncle's cup, Bishop Carroll's Cup. So there's a bit of history there, and wish those 3 boys all the best today. And also coming into the side is Sean Foley as well. He's been in good form in the reserves so far this year in the ruck, along with Hunter Crozier, who had a terrific game in reserves last week against Mangapla. He's come into the side, and just eludes me that 6th one. But out of the side is Tom Bernulis. He's left for his trip overseas. Zach Brain, unfortunately, copped a knee injury in that game against Mangapla. Matt Kanagi's also out. He sustained a knee injury, hyperextension there on Tuesday night at training, so he should just have a short stint on the sideline. As well as Harry Carr's not available this week. So, it's a bit of a different side for the Lions going out on the paddock this week, Guy.
Yeah, well, with those changes, Andrew, that's thanks for going through that. Now, I obviously didn't do any good, because I said, well, we need to organise someone to cancel Tommy B's passport at the airport, so he couldn't get out of the country. So obviously that wasn't successful. So, but no, all the best to Tommy B, and we'd love to see him back at the club next year, if that's at all possible, or in the wing. And while we're talking about passports, shout out to one of our gatekeepers. He's gone off the gate for a month. Ben and Catherine Cruikshank have ventured overseas, so be interesting to see if Ben picks up on, is able to. He'll probably search up the game if he's looking to settle back in his hotel and have a bit of a rest sometime. So shout out to Ben and Catherine on their holiday. Be terrible, Andrew, going over there in the warmth of the northern hemisphere at this time of the year. I'll have to do it one day. So.
Yeah, all the best to Ben and Catherine on their trip overseas. And I just, Jethro Peck is the 6th inclusion today for Jesse Lander, who's out of the side with a hip injury. So, all the best to those inclusions today.
So last home game, Andrew, I think we decided, Lions really against the Bulldogs, wasn't it? Lions got their mojo back, and that must have carried through to that game at Mango. Close, hard-fought win, obviously, but I think it was the right call to say the Lions, got their mojo back, and yes, a lesser opponent today, but they wouldn't want to underestimate Narrandera. As Andrew said, they've been giving as much effort as they can. And we'll expect that again today, because traditionally Narrandera and Grong Manong back over the years, they were arch rivals. The Maroons, the Gammain arch rivals were traditionally Coolaman, and the arch rivals from the Manong Grong Club were Narrandera. So there's a bit of history for you as we players take their positions to get this game underway. Breeze across the ground from the southwest, not a lot in it. Today we'll go back to, we'll denote our scoreboard. Sponsor will be the Croker Grain guys up there from Mara, and we'll cross back to Andrew as the umpire is waiting for everyone to get in their positions, and his fellow umpires take their positions, and we'll be underway shortly here at Gammain.
The umpire throws the ball up. Sean Foley in the ruck for the Lions, and Brad Hutchison for Narrandera, and Narrandera get the clearance out of the centre, but there's Ben Walsh. Takes the first mark of the game across half-back there, looks to switch it out wide, looking for Sam Longmore, but finds Matt Hamlin out on that far half-back flank. He chips one short, finds Connor Krebsler on the wing there. Goes to bring the ball back inside and finds Seb Hamlin there in the centre of the ground. Lions quite happy to chip this one around as they move it forward. Josh Walsh chips one over the top to Kai Watts. As Narrandera push back deep in defence there. He kicks one long and low looking for Dan Foley, and he takes a good strong mark in front of his opponent there in Williams.
Dan's first game back, Andrew, is it from...
He played last week, played very
right.
well, got an award there against Mangapla, so this is his second game back after having his 2 weeks off.
Well, he's inside his distance here as we look over his shoulder. Dan will come in on that right foot with that traditional skip that he gives. No, offline. Won't even make the distance, I don't think. Yeah, 3 for 1 behind.
Maybe a mark to Jeffro Peck here if it's deemed to be marked before the line, but the umpire's called it behind. First score of the game goes to the Lions. Luke McKay to bring this ball in. He started in the forward line. He's pushed down to take this kick in for Narrandera.
So 5 players today, Andrew, from that Pamandi Cowabi Road district.
Yes, it's been a very successful area, and there's Joe Foley's first grab of the football, and he's bundled over the sidelines, and there'll be a throw in there in front of the Narrandera interchange box. Dan Foley and Hutchison in the ruck. Narrandera taps that one down.
Yeah, free kick off the ball, I think. Player interfered with, I think it was.
Shannon Randell there, second year at Narrandera. He asked the umpire a good question there, and he succeeded in getting that free kick. And chips short to Dale Quilter there. Takes a mark in front of the grandstand. Chips over the top to Jack Powell, the boy from Ainsley. Played at Griffith last year and now it's joined Narrandera. He chips over the top to Rendell again. Narendra keeping possession here. He's got Quilter short if he likes, but he's held up here by the Lions. Ball to play on. Finds Tom Power there in front of the Gammain interchange box. He likes to come inside here. Kicks one short and finds Harvey Odges, young boy that's in the Giants. He swings on his left foot, kicks this one forward, and it's a mark there by Narendra on the 50-metre line. He'll go back. Blake Renee, another boy from Ainsley, and he kicks this one long on his left foot looking for McKay, and it's forced through by Jack Sussay and through from behind Narendra's first score of the game.
Plenty of those footballers coming out in that ACT competition to the Riverina, Andrew.
Oh, you could fill a couple of buses, Guy, with the amount of players coming out of Canberra. As Connor Krebs takes a mark on that far wing, running off him is Matt Hamlin. He looks to put this one in forward, looking for Joe Foley. The ball's on the ground there. Punched forward by Jack McKeag. Tapped back by Narendra there. Dan Foley comes charging through, finds Tom Sussay. He has a shot at goal, but he's forced out wide. It's out on the full. Kicked in by Narendra.
So the Eagles will kick it in right in the back pocket position. That area of the ground there being sponsored by Grain Corp. Grain Corp take a lot of grain in the. Got the big setup at Grong Grong and a fairly big setup at Coolerman. Had a shower of rain through the week, Andrew. It was we're not desperate. It's good to see the rain come. It's dried out the last month.
As Grinter for Narendra brings this one in. Kick's fallen short and Connor Krebs almost takes a juggling mark. Play on, says the umpire. Picked up by Matt Hamlin. Gets his hand pass back inside. Gathered by Ben Walsh. He's almost tackled. Gets his kick clear up into the hot spot there. Under is Jeffro Peck. He can't mark. Goes through the hands of Kai Watt. Cleared by Narendra there out to the wing. Racing for the ball is Jacob Taylor. And he's bundled over the sidelines. It'll be a throw in there in that half-forward flank for the Lions.
Yeah, once again, you've got Ag and Vet down here in Waterview Street, Gammain, and the shop at Grong Grong.
Game not reaching any great heights at the moment. Both sides just going through the motions. Foley and Hutchinson in the ruck. Matt Hamlin gathers this one, gets his kick away on his left. Ball's hit the ground. Dan Foley tries to pick it up there through the feet of Butterfield. And the umpire will call for a ball up here, and it'll be balled up about 30 metres out from the Lions' goals.
Lions have been inside 50 fairly often.
Dan Foley taps this down to Kai Watts. He overruns the ball, picked up by Jack McKeag. Ball spilt three, and umpire deemed he threw the ball. Free kick to Narendra. Young Grinter to bring this down. His kick's gone wide, but it's marked almost by Sean Foley. He's dropped it. Come inside by Narendra to Seb Hamlin. He takes a mark. Switches across to Josh Walsh. Chips over the top to Matt Hamlin, but it's marked by Tom Sussay. Plenty of numbers there for the Lions through the centre of the ground. Just held up. Chips one short to Matt Hamlin on that wing. Looks to send this one in long and low, looking for Dan Foley, and he can't take the mark. Plenty of pressure there from Narendra. The ball's on the ground, kicked off the ground by Dan Foley. He's wrapped up in a tackle there, and the umpire called for a ball up deep in that Lions left pocket.
Nate Hamlin sneaks on the ground, Andrew, for his debut.
Yeah, he's pushed on wearing number 66.
Ball up deep in the Lions attacking right forward pocket.
Peck and Hutchison in the ruck. Peck with front positions, punched forward by Hutchison. Racing for his Connor Krebser. Good bump there by Aaron Proctor. The ball's cleared by Narendra here through Kai Bloomfield. Kicks this one down the wing, but it's all Gammain there. Josh Walsh takes the mark. Comes inside to Tom Sussay. He kicks one long and low, looking for Ben Walsh, who's pushed down, but the ball's spoiled there by Renee. Picked up by Kai Watts. He can't gather it though. The ball's free. Gathered by Renee over the top to Tom Power. He's almost tackled there by Jackson Connolly. Ball's on the ground there. Picked up by Ben Walsh. Ball spilt free and deemed to not have possession there, Ben Walsh. And he'll take that free kick 55 metres out from goal on a 45-degree angle.
He'll have a great view over his shoulder, but he'll probably go to give it off, I'd say. He's looking for options.
Goes to switch this across goals, and it's a good pass to Matt Hamlin, but the ball's fallen short. Through his hands, swings around on his left, and it's through for a behind there. The Lions having trouble penetrating those goals.
The Eagles will kick it in from that fullback position. Once again there in the camera shot we can see sponsors down there, Elders Wagga and John Banson's son. Good sponsors to the club.
Hold there, Joe, hold there.
Luke McKay to bring this in once again from Naranda. Goes short to Williams there in the pocket. Again, Williams kicks this one long and low. Play on, says the umpire, doesn't hit his target. Picked up right down. He's wrapped up in a tackle there from behind by Shannon Butterfield, and he's rewarded for a good tackle there, and he'll go back. He's 50 metres out.
Yeah, the Naranda player was just too hot there. He tried to take him on, and umpire said, well, you had enough time. You could have got rid of it. Got a good view of this. We're right behind him.
Breeze coming over his shoulder, but
he'll have a bit of assistance from the breeze.
Kick's going to drift to the left, and it's out on the full.
Out in the full there. Naranda will take the kick in. The Lions left forward pocket. In front of the Alan Harris McDonald directors there from Wagga. Unfortunately, we've had a run of those jobs, Andrew, that have had that business out here. We don't want to see them again for a while.
Ball's gone high, but it's a good mark there by Jack Power for Naranda. The ball's kicked in. He goes inside, finds Rendell again in the centre of the ground. Naranda quite content to chip this ball around and not waste possession. Naranda have it in front of the grandstand there. Comes inside to Jack Powell. Kicks one short to his brother Tom. The centre of the ground. Gets a hand pass on to Grindle. He can play on there. Kicks this one long and low, looking for an A. It just goes over his head. Taps it back over the top of Tom Susse, and ball's bundled over the sidelines there. It'll be thrown in.
Throw in over there in front of the one of the major sponsors for the Lions over there, the Riv Hotel. As Ben Cruikshank said there a couple of weeks ago, best counter lunch in Wagga.
Sean Foley in front there. Had a shot there by McKay, but it's trapped off by Josh Walsh in the goal scorer. He kicks one over the top to Connor Krebs, so he can take a bounce. He's taken one. Can run this down the wing. Looking for Kai Watts, puts it out in front of him. He gathers it in, swings around on his left. Kicks long, looking for Dan Foley. He falls over. The ball's over the back there. Race for the ball from Shannon Butterfield there, and it's kicked back inside there. And it's out of bounds. It'll be a throw in there in that pocket.
Throw in the left forward pocket for the Lions. Deep in attack. Lions be looking to score and get a major on the board while they're in the area.
Dan Foley taps this one down to Aaron Proctor. He comes charging through there, tries to gather the ball up, but he's wrapped up in a tackle there. Jeffro Peck tries to pick it up, gathered by Naranda there, cleared by Bloomfield almost, but he's pushed out over the sidelines. It'll be a throw in that far pocket there, forward pocket for the Lions.
Throw in there in front of the Harris Rural Contracting sign. Sean Harris, very busy with his spreading business.
Dan Foley taps this over the back, charging through his griddle there for Naranda. Kicks cleared there by Naranda, grabbed by Sebem, taps one back to Ben Walsh, over the top there to Jackson Connolly. He gets his first possession in football for Ganmain, chips one short and finds Tom Susse. Naranda getting numbers back in defence there. It's very crowded in the forward line. Kicks this one high, looking for Jeffro Peck, but flying over the back, takes a good mark is Luke McKay there for Naranda. He looks to clear this one long, looking for Rendell and Jack Powell there. But in front is Seb Hamlin. The ball's punched forward there. Tom Susse tries to pick it up. Picked up by Tom Powell. Back to Gleeson. Back to Jack Powell. Chips inside there. Finds Quilter, who takes a mark there on the halfback flank. Chips this one wide, but I think, it stayed in the field of play there. Marked by Grinter, right on the boundary line in front of Narandra's box. Kicks one short, and it's a mark there to Van Buren there. Smothered by Tom Susse. Kicks this one back high into the centre of the ground, looking for Matt Hamlin there. Takes a good mark in front of Rendell. Quickly plays on, switches this ball wide to Jacob Taylor there in the centre of the ground. Chips one over the top to Ben Walsh. Marks it at centre forward there and chips another one over the top, looking for Aaron Proctor, who takes a mark 30 metres out on a 45-degree angle. He'll go back and have a shot at goal.
Bit of a traditional play there for the Lions. They moved it across the ground, making space, and good kicks, good position making. Result, Lions go for get a kick on goal. Shot on goal. Comes in on his right foot. Goal umpire doesn't move. That's it. First major to the Lions.
First goal to Aaron Proctor for the Lions. Very good.
Straight back on ball, straight back on ball. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Croker Grain scoreboard sees the Lions 1-2-8. Eagles 1 behind. 13 minutes gone.
Yeah, we've seen Narendra getting numbers back in defence there and cluttering up that forward line of the Lions, and then attempting to work the ball out of defence there, and Lions seizing on the opportunity to get an avenue into the forward line there, out the fat side, and I think that's what's going to happen a lot today.
Yeah, Eagles defending stoutly, Andrew, but the few times they've gone forward, they haven't been able to. They've probably got so many in defence, they haven't been able to get it over their half forward. So it can work one way and not the other.
Foley and Hutchins in the ruck there. Hutchins taps that down, coming through is Kai Watts. Diving on the ball is Sean Foley there. Play on, says the umpire. And free kick there to Narendra.
Let's see what they can do this time.
Going to Van Buren there. He kicks this one long and low. It's gone through the hands of Shannon Butterfield. Gathered by Kai Bloomfield there. Swings around on his left there, looking for Jack Powell. Coming through is Nate Hamlin. He can't take the mark. Ball's on the ground there. Powell's wrapped up in a tackle there. And the umpire's going to call for a ball up.
So the Eagles will be desperate to score a goal while they're in the area.
Sean Foley taps this down, gathered by Ben Walsh there. Clears this one high, looking for Hunter Crozier. Takes a mark in front of the game main box there. Very good game last week. Hunter in the twos finds Joe Foley on the wing. Takes a diving mark there. Looks to play on. Kicks one down, looking for Jeffro Peck through the hands of Narendra there. Gathered by Grinter. He tries to dodge around one. Smothered there by Jacob Taylor. Picked up by Dan Foley. Gets one out to Tom Sussay. On to Kai Watts. Swings around on his trusty left foot. And it's a goal. It's a good goal. 40 metres out and he's put it through.
He's dangerous on that left, Andrew. Hook. He's more dangerous hooking and chipping at those goals when he's only got hadn't even got time to think about it.
Yeah, he got good purchase on that one, Guy, for a snap, and it sailed through for the Lions' second goal.
Yep. Croker Grain scoreboard. The Lions 2-2-14. Eagles 1 behind. 15 minutes gone. Eagles will be desperate to get a goal.
Lions need to keep building on that scoreboard. Their percentage is one of the lowest of the sides in the five there at the moment, so they need to keep building that. Ball's tapped down by Sean Foley there. Racing forward is Hunter Crozier. Picked up there by Dan Foley. Gets a hand pass out to Jacob Taylor. Swings around on his right there, looking for Jeffro Peck, but the ball's gone long, and it's out over the sidelines. There'll be a throw in that far pocket again.
Let that area also sponsor out there the Gamoon Sports Club. The crowd will be enjoying to get up tonight to the club there in the warmth of the club after today's game.
Tapped down there by Narendra, picked up by Kai Bloomfield there. The ball's gone wide, and it's a good mark to Jamison there on that occasion. Another boy from Canberra. Ball comes inside there, kicked down by Ben Bruin, but he picks out Nate Hamlin. Gets his first possession, kicks across down to Sam Longmore. Lions switching it again to Ben Walsh. Over the top to Seb Hamlin. Plenty of run here from the Lions off half back. Kicks this one long and low, looking for Dan Foley. Gone through his hands, gathered by Matty Hamlin, and he's bundled over the sidelines. And there'll be a throw in on this side of the ground for the Lions now.
Throw in there in front of the Gamoon Pharmacy, down there in Ford Street, Gamoon. Got tin with all his prescriptions down there. Got everything you want.
Ball's thrown high in front. Dan Foley tapped down by Hutchison over the back. Matt Hamlin tries to pick it up there. He's gathered, gets his hand pass away. Umpires deemed he was caught with the ball. Picked up by Renee there to get the free kick. Goes wide on his trusty left foot. Finds McKay there in front of the Narendra box. Narendra keen not to waste a possession here. Want to control this ball. Finds Kyle Bloomfield here. Inside. Oh, sorry, Hodges on that occasion, young Hodges. He kicked high. Good mark by Hutchison there in front of a pack of Gammain players. Gets his hand pass back to Mackay. He's trapped there on the boundary line. Swings around at his left. Tried to be gathered there by Sam Longmore. He can't pick it up, and the umpire called for a ball up on that half forward flank there for Narendra.
I think we've got Ladies' Day here today, Andrew, capped off tonight by the Lions AFLW side who got their presentation tonight too.
That's correct, Guy, yep. Narendra kicked this ball high into the forward line there, and Sam Martin reads it best. Takes a good strong mark there. Goes to switch the ball, looking for Seb Hamlin inside. He can run and carry this one. Chips one over the top, looking for Tom Sussay. Puts it out in front of him, gets a true bounce. Gets to run this one on into the forward line, but he's gone too far. And the umpire call it back. It's a free kick to Narendra there. They look to come inside. Find Beale there on that occasion. He holds this one up, goes back wide again.
Tom Sasso getting amongst the possessions early, Andrew.
Yeah, he started this game very well. Veering has it on the far side there, kicks one over the top. Looking for Jamison. He takes a mark there in front of Longmore. Kicks this one long and low and finds Quilter. Narendra working this one forward slowly. Chips one over the top. Almost a good mark there to Jack Powell in front of Josh Walsh. Narendra have the ball on the just shy of the half forward flank. Kicks one short. Finds Jamison again. Narendra keeping possession here. Go to switch inside. This is a dangerous kick. It's marked by Kai Watts in the centre of the ground. He can play on quickly here. Chips one over the top to Connor Krebser. He's got a paddock in front of him. But Narendra first to the ball. But he taps one over the top. Very cleverly done. And he kicks a lovely goal. Good play, Connor Krebser. Good play by the Lions. Quick play.
Luck can be a fortune, but the ball bounced over the Narendra guy's head. But in the lead up to that, the Lions made the play, and Connor Krebser he put plenty of sprint on the ground. He was in the right position to capitalise on the fact that ball was a little bit of an awkward bounce, and the result, Lions goal.
No, it was very quick play by the Lions. Once they got that break there, they were quick through the centre of the ground and got it forward to a very open forward line there. The Narendra defenders couldn't get back.
Croker Grange scoreboard, Lions 3-2-20, Eagles 1 behind. 20 minutes gone, first quarter.
Back in the centre of the ground. Sean Foley and Hutchison. Up it goes. Hutchison high, but it's a free kick deemed to be a shepherd there from Sean Foley, and it'll go back to the Narendra ruckman, the centre of the ground. Sends this one long and low on his left foot. It's gone through hands there, gathered by Hodges. He can't get his hand pass away. Ball's in dispute there, and it'll be a ball up there and 40 metres out in front of Narendra goals. Ball's tapped down by Hutchison there. Has a height advantage over Sean Foley. Picked up there by Beale, but he's wrapped up in the tackle there by Jack Sussay, and the umpire called for a ball up. Yeah, ball hasn't moved from where it was.
No prior opportunity with that one.
Foley and Hutchison taps that one down to Tom Powell. He's almost wrapped up in a tackle, and the umpire will call for a ball up once again. This ball's going nowhere.
We need a clearing kick, Andrew.
Hutchison uses his body there, taps that one down to his feet, but it's wrapped up again. Fourth ball up in a row. Number of players around the ball. Hutchison taps this down to Mackay. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Umpire call for a ball up once again. Tap forward there by Foley. Picked up by Shannon Butterfield. Grabbed by Ben Walsh. One over the top there to Kai Watts. He gathers this one on. He can take a bounce and run. Looks to come inside. Looks for Jeffro Peck. It's gone over his head. A little push in the back there from James Smith. It'll be a free kick to Jeffro Peck there on that half forward flank for the Lions. Kicks this one in, but it's all Narandra there. Marked by Grindle there, a half back for Narandra. He goes wide and finds Mellon on that occasion. He kicks one wide to his Narandra teammate, goes to come back inside, but almost intercepted by Tom Sussay, gathered by Beale, back to Grindle. He swings around on his left, kicks this one long, looking for Jack Powell. Ball's on the ground there, gone through their fingers. And it's bundled over the sidelines there by Narandra, and it'll be a throw-in on that far wing.
So we'll see the throw-in out there in front of the Jason Lindsell Electrical. Got any of those electrical problems around the area, get on to Jason and his team. They'll sort it out.
Hutchins taps that one down to Mackay, kicks it off his left high. Gathered by Jack Sussay, back to Josh Walsh. Looks to come inside to Matt Hamlin there. He can switch this one to Ben Walsh. He's got a paddock in front of him. Kicks this one quickly, looking for Kai Watts. He takes a mark on the wing there. He can play on if he likes. Looking for Dan Foley. He's gone over the top for his brother Joe. Tries a one-handed mark. It's gone through his hands. Ball's on the ground there. Gathered by Narandra. Picked up by James Smith there. Gets his kick away. Gathered there by Jackson Connolly almost. Picked up by Seb Hamlin. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Grabbed by Jackson Connolly there. Kicks one high. Looking for Jeffro Peck and takes almost a strong mark there. Play on, says the umpire, and cleared by Narandra. Back through the centre of the ground there. Ball's on the ground there. Gathered by Matt Hamlin. Both sides got a tackle. Fumbles there at the moment. He picks it up, swings wide, looking for Connor Krebser in front of the scoreboard. Chips one over the top and finds Jack McKegg 45 metres out on a pretty tight angle. Be a pretty tough kick for Jack here, but he's going to go back and have a shot.
Jethro Peck did everything bar hold the ball. He made position, Andrew. He got good purchase on it, but just not quite long enough.
Yeah, Jack McKegg comes in. Kicks on its way. It's high, but it's going to drift to the side and through from behind. 25-minute mark of this first quarter.
Breeze definitely favouring the northern end of the ground, Andrew, but I think just the Lions' attack on the ball, I think that's more than the story than the breeze.
Yeah, it's had a reasonable first quarter, but I'd like to see him kick a few more goals. But anyway, this one's gone high. Gathered by Narandra there, kicks this one along the ground to Quilter there. Back inside to Absalom. His kick smothered by Nate Hamlin there. Back inside to Powell. Dodges round one. Over the top. Smothered there by Jack Sussay. Sam Longmore picks us up inside to Matt Hamlin. He can switch it out wide looking for Sam Martin. He's gathered the ball there. Can clear this for the Lions.
What a time here at Gammain Sports Ground. Lions got the Croker Grain scoreboard. Sees the Lions 3-2-20. Eagles one behind. So a good opening there for the Lions, Andrew.
Yes, not a bad start, Guy. 3 goals to nothing in that first quarter.
Plenty of endeavour from the Eagles, but they couldn't capitalise on the scoreboard.
Yes, they're quite content to keep control of that ball, Guy, and they're just having difficulty once they get it into that forward line, finding a target that's within goals.
And importantly for the Lions, the debutants have all had touches. Connolly's been busy. Joe Foley in and out of the play. He just looks a little bit lighter when you see him up against some of those opponents, but that won't worry him. He'll continue with that endeavour. Commentators and cameraman will take a break. We'll bring you the second quarter shortly. So the timekeeper here at the Gammain Sports Ground giving the players a hurry up with a buzz. Sam Martin holding his players in huddle there, Andrew, giving a few more instructions.
Yes, could hear him say that he wanted the Lions players to switch that ball quickly. And you could see in that first quarter when they did switch that ball and move it on quickly that they could get a resulting goal from that. They'll be looking to do more of that this quarter.
So what breeze there is, the Eagles will have this quarter. not significant, but might help their endeavours. They were very, they were keen to stack that defence a bit, Andrew, but that can rob you a little bit going forward.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they come up with this quarter as we wait to get underway. Umpire waits till the ground is cleared.
Sean Foley and Hutchins in the ruck. Hutchins taps this down to Tom Susse there. The umpire's pulled out a free kick to Jack Powell there, in the centre of the ground. Looks to send this one long for Narendra, looking for McKay, and finds him on a long lead there, 50 metres out.
Good kick and a good lead and a good mark.
Yeah, two very polished footballers, played at a NEFL level.
He's going to kick from just outside the 50. He's pretty confident, Andrew, that he can make it.
Yes, just checking that wind. He's going to have a breeze blowing across his body as he kicks this one. Strolls in. Couple of skips. Launches it, but it's to no avail. It's out on the full there.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest the breeze is that strong, but yeah, no, he didn't hit it right. He was unhappy. As soon as it came off his boot, he knew the result.
Ball come crashing down on a car there. I think a few weeks ago someone got a broken window here, Guy, from a football.
Oh, that can still happen. That's been happening for years.
Yes. So Ben Walsh brings this one back in and finds Aaron Proctor. He chips this one short, looking for Sean Foley. He can't pick it up. Numbers here for Narendra there. Rendell chips this one forward. It rolls forward to Jack Susse. Swings around his left. He finds Tom Powell. And he takes a mark there across half forward for Narendra.
Eagles player slow to get up there.
Yeah, Rendell very slow to get to his feet there.
Yeah.
Powell's stopped on that occasion. Looks forward, short, looking for Hutchins. Gathered there by Narendra. The ball's rolled, touched on the line there by Ben Walsh. And almost a goal there for Narendra. To Lee McKay on that occasion.
The Eagles need to keep it in if they're to do any good here now.
Ben Walsh brings it into Matt Hamlin. He looks to chip this one over the top there, looking for Tom Susse. He marks this just inside the boundary line there in front of the Narendra box. Looks to come inside there, finds his brother Jack. Chips one short, looking for Seb Hamlin. As the Lions look to run this forward to his cousin Matty there. He runs this forward for the Lions, looking for Dan Foley. Gone through his hands there. Gathered by Kane Williams there, kicks this one high, looking for Matt Hamlin, over the back to Seb Hamlin there. He applies a shepherd there, but it's gathered by Powell. Gets a hand pass to Renee, swings around on his left there, kicks this one high, looking for McKay. He moves quickly too, but he can't hold it, and the ball's out over the sidelines. It'll be a throw in there on that half-back flank for Narendra.
Once again, shout out to Tin down there in the pharmacy. So we've got a couple of signs there that they're out of date, so if anyone would like to buy a fence sign, see the treasurer, Michael Quinn.
Ball thrown in. Hutchins taps this down, but gathered by Sean Foley. Out to Sam Longmore there. Ball's gone over the top of his head, and the umpire called for a ball up. Sean Foley taps that down to Aaron Proctor, gathered by Matt Hamlin. Hand pass back inside, through the hands of Sam Longmore. Coming through is Ben Walsh there. The ball's on the ground, gathered by Tom Powell there. Swings around on his right foot, kicks this one forward. Bounces high in front of Josh Walsh. Tries to drag this one in, picked up by Sam Longmore. Gets a hand pass out to Sam Martin. He can run this out for the Lions. Chips one over the top, looking for Connor Krebser, but the ball's rolled through his hands and out over the sideline as the Lions attempt to clear this ball out of defence.
So it'll be thrown in out there in front of the Stephen Patterson Bobcat hire there from Coolaman. We've got a big clash with Coolaman coming up shortly, Andrew.
Yes, next week's guy, but the Lions will be focused on this one as the ball's tapped down by Jack McKegg on that occasion, and the players are diving in on top of this one, and the umpire's calling to play on as Jack Powell clears the ball for Narendra, chips this one long and low and finds McKay closer than his last kick. In that far pocket, he's confident he's going to go back and have a shot.
He moves nicely. It was a nice lead to the ball and a good kick. Good football. See if he can convert it. Give the Eagles a bit of a lift if he can goal from here. He's going to come in on that right foot. Breeze across the kick. Goal umpire hasn't moved, Andrew.
The goal umpire likes it, and it's a goal to Luke McKay. Good goal. That's Narandra's first.
Yeah, he was disappointed with that effort there a while ago that went out in the full, and so he made sure of that one. Croker Grange scoreboard. The Lions 3-3-21. Eagles 1-2-8. 5 minutes gone in the second quarter here at the Gammain Sports Ground.
As Nate Hamlin comes onto the ground for the Lions, and Jackson Connolly, 2 debutants back on the field. Sean Foley and Hutchins in the ruck. Lions will be looking to get that goal back. Umpire Alex Manley throws it up. Hutchins taps this down on his left to Jack Powell. Clears this one out of the centre. Looking for McKay again on a long lead in front of Josh Walsh. Gathered by Renee there. Picked up by McKay. Does a banana kick. And he's just missed through the behinds. Yep. I think the Lions need to spark themselves up a bit. They just look a bit flat here at this stage. I think it's just going to happen, but it's not going to be the case. As Sam Martin brings this one in. Over the top to Ben Walsh. Comes back inside looking for Jack Sussay. Marks it in the centre of the ground there, across half back. Chips it back the other way to Seb Hamlin. Chips one long and low looking for Jackson Connolly, but it's cleared by Kai Bloomfield there. Ball's on the ground coming through as Absalom picked up there by Krebs, Nate Hamlin on that occasion, but the umpire's going to call for a ball up. He can't get it clear.
Ball up will be right on the arc of the 50. Narandra attack.
Sean Foley and Hutchin in the ruck. Hutchin taps this down on his left. Coming through is Powell. Gets his hand pass out to his brother Tom. Kicks this one forward. Coming through is Jack Sassay. He ducks his head. Gets his hand pass away to Aaron Proctor there. Gets one back out to Sam Martin. It's on the ground there. He tries to gather this in front of Renee. Forces it out over the sideline there. And the umpire call for a throw in.
We'll get a throw in out there on the far half forward flank for Narandra in front of the Nutrien. Wagga Wagga. Very busy around this area, the Nutrien agents.
Gathered by Powell there. He's starting to get a bit of the ball there in the centre of the ground for Narandra. Picked up there by De Bruin. He keeps his feet. Has a shot on goal. Umpire's called this one back. It's gone out over the sidelines. Back on that half-forward flank. It'll be a throw-in.
So we'll get a throw-in out there in front of the Michael McCormack sign. Michael McCormack, member for Riverina, now in opposition. Don't hear as much from him, Andrew. Did you see him out at Mango or not?
Yeah, Michael was there watching his son Alex play.
He'd have a bit to say then.
Yes, he enjoys watching these children's play sport. Always brings the camera. The ball's thrown in there and it's wrapped up again in another stalemate there on that half-forward flank for Narandra. Lions having trouble moving this forward into the breeze.
It's all Eagles.
Hutchins taps that round. He's starting to dominate in the ruck there. Out the back to Ben Walsh. On to Sam Martin. Dodges around McKay. Gives a hand pass to Josh Walsh there. Kicks this one long and low looking for Connor Krebs, but it's gone over the back and it's marked there by Narandra. By Jamison. He looks to bring this one quickly in and high. Under it is Hutchins. Gone through his hands. Gathered by Aaron Proctor. He gets a clearing kick out to Renee, who can swing around on his left foot there, but he hand passes to De Bruin. Back to Renee. Swings around on his left. Looking for Narandra there. Young Lee McKay. On that occasion, he takes a mark 40 metres out on a slight angle. It's been all Narandra this second quarter.
The Eagles everywhere.
Lions have been disappointing. He'll go back and have a shot on goal.
Breeze in his back. Oh, great kick there from the Eagles. McKay on that time. Straight over the goal umpire's head.
That's Narandra's second goal.
Croker Grange scoreboard sees the Lions 3-3-21, Eagles 2-3-15. Sam Martin's going to have to rally this Lion side, Andrew. It's not just, as you said, it's not just going to happen. They're going to have to go with a bit more intensity than this.
They're getting beaten in the ruck. They're getting beaten in those centre clearances at the moment. Narandra's key players are starting to come into the game. In Powell and McKay. And into the ruck now is Jeffro Peck as Sean Foley's gone deep forward. Peck wins this one down to Jack McKegg, who's moved into the centre of the ground as well, but he's wrapped up in a tackle there, and the umpire call for a ball up.
I think you alluded to in the lead-up to the game, Andrew, that even though Narandra are not having a great year, they've been competitive.
That's right, yeah. Hutchins taps this one down, picked up by Connolly there, kicks this one wide, looking for Taylor. He gathers this ball in there on the bounce, sends it long and low, looking for Tom Sussay, finds him, he gets a quick hand pass to Seb Hamlin. On his right foot, kicks this one forward, it hits the ground, gathered by Grintle there, gets his hand pass away there. Charging through is Tom Sussay, he grabs the ball, gets a hand pass back to Veering, gets a hand pass there to Odgers. He kicks this one long. Under it is Ben Walsh there. Bounces over the top of Quilter. Gathered by Ben Walsh. Out the back to Renee. He's tackled high. Play on, says the umpire. Dodges round one. Dodges round two. Gets his kick away. Goes long to the goal square. Under it is Josh Walsh. Taps this one down. Picked up by Sam Martin and taken over the sidelines there. Deep in Narandra's forward line once again. Lions having great difficulty getting it into their 50.
Another throw in front of the tin Gammane Pharmacy sign. Tin, valued sponsor of the Lions.
Peck in the ruck, taps this down to Ben Walsh. Over the top to Shannon Butterfield, out to Matt Hamlin. Gets a left foot kick away high, looking for Connolly there. He can run onto this one. Elects to hold it up there, takes a good mark on that wing. Kicks long and low, looking for Dan Foley. It's out in front of him. The ball's bounced back over their heads. Gets a hand pass on to Tom Sussay. Swings around on his left. Looks to come inside to Butterfield. He gathers this one. Can kick this long into the 50 there. Under this is Aaron Proctor. Uses his body there and takes a good mark in front of his Narandra opponent there. In Hall. And Aaron Proctor will go and have a shot. He'll have to... he's deep in that left-hand pocket there for the Lions.
He's looking to run around, Andrew, is he?
He's going to run around, swing onto that right foot. And he's kicked it to the near side, and it's through from behind. The Lions' first score of this second quarter. Their first foray into the forward 50.
Not sure about those around the corner kicks, about the percentage of them, but anyway, I'm not out there. We wait for the ball to be retrieved.
Narandra to bring this one back in. Narandra, the Lions got a big zone up. Ball's kicked long and low and finds Odgers there. Cross half forward for Narandra. He goes to go wide, looking for McKay. Coming through is Sam Longmore, and that's a good decisive punch. The ball over the sideline there, and the ball will be thrown back in front of the Lions interchange box.
So the Rucks will set themselves here in front of the broadcast box, and Lions will be desperate to get back inside that 50 and get on the scoring board.
Peck and Hutchins on this case as he taps it. Hutchins down to Butterfield in front position. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Umpire will ball it up once again. Peck and Hutchins. Ball bounced on the ground, gathered by Matt Hamlin. He tries to get a left foot kick away, gathered by Tom Powell. Charges through the centre there, gets a hand pass to Bloomfield. Chips this one long and low along the ground. It's gathered by Quilter there. Comes to go back inside to Grinter. Picked up by Tom Powell again. Kicks this one long and high, looking for his brother Jack. It's gone wide, and the ball's racing towards the sideline. Gathered by Powell. He can swing around on his left there. Chips this one back, looking for Bloomfield there, and he marks it on that wing position in front of the scoreboard there.
Yeah, good vision and a good call.
He can send this one in long now for Narandra. He kicks it long and low again. That's two kicks in a row. It's been along the ground, gathered by Quilter. Comes back to Grinter. He marks there on the wing there. Play on, says the umpire. Sends this one up long and high. Players set themselves, almost marked by Powell. On the ground there, and it's wrapped up by the Lions opponents there, and they'll ball this one up in front of the Narandra goals.
Lions under plenty of pressure in their
Number of
defence.
players around the ball, Guy, and it's tapped down to Jack Sussay. Taps one out to Matt Hamlin, on to Ben Walsh. Gets a clearing kick out wide, but it's over the top of Renee, and Krebs are there, gathered by Renee. Back to Grinter. The Narandra will send this one back in again. It's coming long and low, but under it is Ben Walsh. He takes a good mark in front of Absalom there, and he'll get the kick in that pocket for the Lions. Look to clear this ball.
Lions will look to set up from this kick.
He's got Jeffro Peck inside and finds him there in the centre of Narandra goals, 40 metres out. He goes to switch this long and low. He's got Nate Hamlin wide. He takes a good mark in front of his Narandra opponent. On the opposite half back flank, looks to come back inside and finds Jeffro Peck again. He elects to hold it up. No one on the mark, so he plays on. Kicks this one long and high. Under it is Krebser. He's pushing the back. Play on, says the umpire. He gathers it again. Chips over the top looking for Kai Watts. It's out in front of him. He gathers it on his left. Swings this one around looking for Tom Sussay and finds him in that forward pocket. He'll go back and have a shot on goal. Similar position to Aaron Proctor a few minutes ago. Looks like he's going to go with the traditional drop punt Guy.
He's heard me. He knows I'm not a fan of that round the corner job, Andrew.
Yeah.
I thought Krebser was a little bit stiff not to get that push in the back, Andrew. But
the umpire put the whistle to the mouth, but
yeah,
the air didn't go into the P, and play on was the call. As Tom Sussay comes in with this one.
No,
Ball's going to fall short, and it's punched over the sidelines by Narandra.
Tom be disappointed with that because he really just stabbed at it and didn't follow through.
Didn't kick through the ball, Guy. Yep.
He's got his hands on the top of his head at the moment, and he's annoyed with himself. Never mind, it'll be time to redeem yourself, Tom.
Sean Foley in the ruck taps this one forward. It's out over the sidelines for another throw in. A little bit further around from the Lions' goals.
Throw in there in front of the centre care guys there from Wagga Wagga. I tell you every week it's very important. They got that relationships help and also mental health help for anyone in that situation.
Sean Foley taps that down, charging through is Jake Taylor, and he kicks this one across the face of goal there. Racing for the ball is veering. He gets one over the top there, looking for
umpires found one.
To be caught. Deemed to be didn't have possession of the ball, and it's a free kick to Narandra. Absalom goes to switch this one back across goals to Grintle there. He marks it in the square. Looking for Absalom. Finds him on that half-forward flank in front of Sean Foley. Kicks this one high. Under it is Aaron Proctor. Takes a good mark in front of Nate Hamlin. He's got players inside there. Chips this one back to Ben Walsh. He takes it. A diving mark back inside to Matt Hamlin. He can kick this one long and wide across the other side to Connor Krebser on that half-forward flank. Runs around on his trusty left foot. Sends this one in long to the goal scorer. Under it is Sean Foley. Goes through his hands. Gathered by Narandra there. They try to clear the ball and it's out over the sidelines for a throw in.
We'll have another throw in front of that famous Wagga pub, the Riverina Hotel, home of the Lions when they're playing in Wagga.
Ball's thrown in there. Umpires asked it to be thrown in again. Sean Foley and Hutchins in the ruck. Foley with that front position. Hutchins gets a grubbing punch away there to McKay. He gathers this one, runs it out of defence there. Kicks this one long and wide. And it's out over the sidelines on that far wing. As Narandra clear the ball.
We'll get a throw in out there in front of the Coolaman Chaser Bin manufacturers up there at Coolaman. They're going through town constantly. I think they're probably going down to the irrigation area for that rice harvest at the moment, probably.
Ball comes in, punched forward by Peck to Krebser, to Proctor, back to Hamlin. Matty, that is, gets one over the top to Sam Martin. He can run with this one. Gets one to Matt Hamlin. He's lost the ball though, and it's out over the sideline. Lions just not on their game today. Simple little tasks.
The quarter's getting away from the Lions, Andrew. The time, 19 minutes gone. So we get another throw in out there in front of the Coolaman Chaser Bins.
Mentally, they just don't look with it here today. The ball's been asked to be thrown in again on that far wing. Peck and Hutchins. Hutchins over the top there. Caught high is Kai Watts there. He'll get that free kick. Looks to come inside to Matt Hamlin. Finds him in the centre of the ground. Andrew getting numbers back. He goes short to Conley. The ball's been punched down. Picked up by Conley. Back to Proctor. Over to Ben Walsh. Tips this one looking for Tom Sussay. It's out in front of him. Gathers the ball in. Kicks it up high looking for Dan Foley. Ball's punched clear by James Smith, and the ball bundles over the sidelines there. It'll be a ball, another throw in there in the pocket.
The Eagles double teaming Foley, making it difficult for Dan to mark there in that forward position.
Yeah, they're getting numbers back there. Sean Foley, Hutchins front position, gathered by Sean Foley, tries to get his kick away there. The umpire's deemed to be caught with the Sean Foley caught with the ball there. Incorrect disposal, and Hutchins will take the kick. Looks for Quilter short. Finds him on a lead. It's gone through his feet. Picked up by Peck. Hand pass on to Tom Sussay. Back over the top to Seb Hamlin. To Matt Hamlin. Errant hand pass finds Bloomfield. To Jamison there. He shrugs one tackle. Shrugs two. Swings out on his right. And finds Absalom on the wing there as Narandra look to regroup here. They've got numbers in the centre of the ground. Switches across. Finds Powell in the centre. He's got James Smith on a run on that far wing. He's going to send this one long and high, looking for McKay. It goes through his hands. Play on, says the umpire. Gathered by Sam Martin, picked up by Matt Hamlin. He goes one way, then another. Finds Butterfield in front of that wing scoreboard. Finds Sam Martin again on that wing again. Hand passes back to Shannon Butterfield. Run from defence there from the Lions. Kicks this one long and low. Looking for Dan Foley. Finds him on that deep half-forward flank. Looks to come inside for Tom Sussay. And finds him there across half-forward for the Lions.
Probably near leading possession getter for the Lions, Andrew.
He's been good. He's been good today, Guy. He looks to chips this one short and finds Dan Foley on a lead there. And he'll have a shot on goal. 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
A goal would boost Dan's confidence here. Second game back from that suspension.
Comes in. Kicking into that breeze. Ball's long and it's going to land in the goal square. Players fly up. Ball's on the ground. Grabbed by Kai Watts. Snaps this one back over his shoulder. And the umpire has called it behind there. Christian McCree, goal umpire, has called it behind. It was close.
Croker Grain scoreboard. The Lions 3-5, 23. Eagles 2-3, 15. There's 22 minutes gone.
Grinter kicks this out wide to Quilter. To Powell on that half-back flank for Narandra. He just holds it up. Chips one long and low. Finds Odgers there. Almost on that centre wing. He holds this one up. Late in the quarter, they don't want to lose possession here to the Eagles. He's forced to kick long and high to the far wing. Under it is Josh Walsh. Matt Hamlin. The ball's gone over the back to Seb Hamlin and it's over the sidelines and it'll be thrown in.
Boundary line was the Eagles' friend there because the Lions, it was 3-on-1 to the Lions there. We'll have a throw in front of Bill Rava's carpet cleaning business sign. Does great work on those carpets when you come in with those muddy boots. Cleans them up.
Ball's over the back there and young Conley's wrapped up in a tackle there by Narandra. Umpire ball it up in front of that scoreboard. Peck and Hutchins. Peck taps it out the back. Almost picked up by Powell. Gathered by Shatterford. He's tackled high there. He gets a free kick. In front of that wing there. Looks to move it quickly here for the Lions. Going to go wider.
Half time here at Gammain Sports Ground. Lions 3-5, 23. Eagles 2-3, 15. I think you alluded to it at the start of the game, Andrew. Even though Narandra hadn't struggling a bit this year, there would be no pushover today for the Lions, and the Lions have come out and they just look like they're waiting for someone to do something, and it's not happening, Andrew.
Yeah, no, they're very flat at the moment, Guy, after having 3 victories, and Durandra really put it to them. And yet Durandra has won that quarter, kicked the 2 goals to nothing for the Lions, so they've got a bit of work to do here at half time to regroup.
Yeah, the Eagles can go in at half time. They can be very proud of their efforts to contain the Lions here in the first half. They've defended well. They've defended grimly. Let nothing. Been no easy passages for the Lions to go in. So commentators, cameramen will take a break, and most likely the second half will be a dour struggle, and we look forward to bringing it to you. So the legendary timekeeper here, Tim Foley, at the Gammain Sports Ground. He's been on the siren as the Eagles have been a bit slow to get out of the sheds. He wants them out and wants to get them going. Andrew, well, we alluded to it before the game. We said the Eagles would probably competitive, but we didn't bank on the fact that the Lions would be so uncompetitive by half time in the game.
Yeah, that's right, Guy. They're very lethargic, the Lions, and I'm sure at half time there, Sam Martin would have given them a good old rev up there and expect more from them going into this second half as Narendra start yapping at their heels here, winning that second quarter.
Yeah, no, it was a good, great effort from the Narendra defence. They defended. We saw right from the opening bounce that Narendra defended strongly in the first quarter, and then they really excelled in the second quarter. They haven't been able to. They haven't put scoreboard pressure on, but they've kept the Lions from putting scoreboard pressure on. So we've got a very low-scoring game here on the Croker Grain scoreboard at half-time as we wait to start this third quarter here at Gammain. The Lions 3-5-23, Eagles 2-3-15. What can you see, Andrew? Any changes?
No, not at this stage, Guy. Everyone seems to be lining up in their positions.
Things just a little bit flat. We've called it the ladies' day here, and even up on the bank, the ladies are a little bit flat. So we need something to spark this second half of the game.
As Narendra clear the ball out of the centre there. It's a good one-handed mark by Ben Walsh across half-back there. His hair pass hits the ground, gathered by Sam Longmore there. Chips one short to Matt Hamlin there in front of the Lions interchange box. Comes back to Aaron Proctor. Back to Josh Walsh. Marks just shy of the wing there. Chips this one over the top to Seb Hamlin as the Lions look to keep possession here. He can play on. Swings this one long and low. Coming through is Jake Taylor there. Gathers the ball. Tries to break through one tackle. Gets a hand pass away as he swung around. And the ball's wrapped up there in front of the Narendra bench. Peck in the ruck there. Taps this one down. Gathered by Narendra there. Kai Watts wraps him up in a tackle there. Picked up by Aaron Proctor, and umpire Alex Manley says, give it to me, I'll throw it up again. Talking of timekeepers, I noticed there the other day in Melbourne, a lady at Airport West timekeeped a 700 game. How many games have you done, Tim? He hasn't kept count, so there you go. He could be pressing 700. As the ball comes inside to Tom Sussay there. He kicks this one long and high. Under it is Dan Foley there. The ball's gone over the back there. Kane Williams tries to gather it through the hands of Connor Krebser. There are James Smith's wrapped up in a tackle there by his cousin Dan Foley, and the umpire will ball that ball up.
I think you've set Tim a task now to go to backtrack Andrew through his career.
Yes, do a bit of research. The ball's tapped forward there by Sean Foley to Connor Krebser. He's wrapped up in a tackle there. Play on, says the umpire. Picked up by Shannon Butterfield. He gets his hand pass away. Gathered by Narendra there. Back inside to Powell. Back to Van Bruin. He clears this ball to Quilter there. Narendra out of defence here. Comes back inside to McKay there in the centre of the ground. As Narendra looked to push this one forward there. Chips this one short. Finds Jamison there. Kicks this one back to McKay. The ball's on the ground there. Almost cut off by Krebser. Kicks this one high on his left there. Under it is Ben Walsh. He takes a good mark in defence. Looks to play on here. Sends this one back long to the wing there. He's got Sean Foley on his own over the back. He marks it on that centre wing for the Lions. Looks to come inside to Sam Martin there. Been called to play on by the umpire. Chips this one over the top. Loose player here for the Lions. Aaron Proctor has got the ball. He's just held up. He'll have to go back behind his mark. Chips this one over the top and finds Tom Sussay there.
Within range, Andrew. He's going to have to kick from the 50.
Oh, it's going to have to be a good kick, Guy.
Breeze might help a little bit, even though it's across. He's going to be across his left shoulder, but no, he's gone to the front of the top of the square.
And a good strong mark to Dan Foley on that occasion.
Yeah, Dan outpositioned his Eagles opponent that time, and the ball carried a little bit further in the air than the Eagles guy. He ran under it, and Dan Foley, with those big arms, he snavelled it up. He's going to kick from directly in front, come in on that right foot. Goal umpire likes it, I reckon. So do the players. That's a good indication. Goal to the Lions.
First goal to the Lions of this third quarter.
Sam Martin will be looking for more. A repeat of that play. Lions. Croker Grain scoreboard. Lions 4-5-29. Eagles 2-3-15. 3.5 minutes gone, third quarter. They call the third quarter the premiership quarter, but both these sides are a long way from premiership style of play today, Andrew.
Yes, they are at the moment, Guy. There's a little bit of niggle goes on in defence there for the Lions. There's a bit of chatter amongst the players there. Coach Sam Martin, Jack Sussay, Michael Mellon and Luke McKay there back for Narendra. The ball back to the centre.
Might be good to see a bit of feeling get in it, Andrew.
Yes, very flat at the moment as Jeffro Peck taps that ball forward towards Jack McKegg. Wrapped up in a tackle there is Aaron Proctor's won possession of the ball here. Good strong tackle. Playing well for the Lions, but his pass is cut off there by Narendra.
Yeah, well read there by the Eagles player.
By Ben Bruin, he comes wide looking for just goes through his hands, gathered by Nate Hamlin. One over the top to Aaron Proctor. Back to Sam Longmore. Chips this one over the top on the ground in front of Matt Hamlin. Gathers it in. Gets his hand pass away, but he's deemed to throw the ball, and it's play on, says it. No, the umpire's calling it back. Kick to Quilter there. Dale Quilter looks to switch his ball. Long looking for Kane Williams in the centre of the ground. Back inside to Grinter. He gets his kick away. Ball's coming into the forward line there. Under it is Sussay and Walsh. Picked up by Ben Walsh. Chips one over the top to Sam Martin. He regathers. Back to Tom Sussay. Looks to clear this ball for the Lions. Finds Dan Foley on that far wing. Gets one over the top to Connor Krebser. He runs onto this one. He's got Sam Martin if he likes. Ignores him. Kicks one long and low. But it's marked by James Smith on that occasion. Looks to bring it out the other side here. Looking for young Bloomfield. Ball bouncing in front of him. Kicks it to... hand passes it to... Gleeson, and he's wrapped up in a tackle by young Conley there, and he gets the free kick.
Yeah, good pressure there from Conley. He read it. The Narendra guy, he wasn't good enough to step inside Conley, and Conley tackled him, held him up.
And he finds Ben Walsh in a clutch of Narendra players there, and he takes a good strong mark at centre half forward for the Lions.
So we're just seeing a little bit more spark here from the Lions, Andrew.
Yeah, they've lifted the intensity in the start of this third quarter.
We know they can do more yet. Ben Walsh will be well within range.
Young Jackson Conley was very good there. Plays a bit of touch, rep touch guy. So that was
he
good skills there.
Read it well, and his Eagles opponent had nowhere to go. He had him covered.
Ben Walsh sends this one its way. It looks good off the boot. Straight over umpire Christian McCree's head guy, and it's a goal.
Lot better from the Lions. Croker Grain scoreboard. The Lions 5-5-35. Eagles 2-3-15. 6.5 minutes gone, third quarter. We're still waiting to hear a bit from the ladies on the bank there, Andrew. They need a bit more of that Prosecco in them.
Yes, they're very subdued at the moment.
They might be leaving it for tonight. They got that AFLW presentation at the club tonight. Might be a longer evening. They might be pacing themselves. That's probably what it is.
Yes, I'd say so. Now the Lions looking to apply their pressure here now. They've kicked the first 2 goals of this third quarter. They've just, early on, they've let the Narrandera Eagles into the game as Powell clears this one out of the centre to Odgers. Swings on his left, kicks this one long, looking for Sam Longmore. Good judgment, takes a good mark over the back, plays on, kicks this one wide, looking for Matt Hamlin, and finds him. He's always got that good spread from the centre. Clearances there. He's out wide on that wing there. Chips this one over the top looking for Jack McKegg. Haven't seen a lot of Jack today, but he's starting to come into the game in this third quarter. Over to young Jackson Conley. Kicks this one forward to a diving Sean Fowler there. Gathered by his brother Dan. Chips this one over the top there, but it's found Grinter there for Narrandera on that halfback centre position. Goes wide. Finds Tom Power there. He can play on here. Chips one short. Looks for Luke McKay there. Finds him. He swings around on his right. Finds Quilter. As Narrandera push into their forward line here. He holds this one up. He's got Jack Powell back in the centre of the ground. Finds him. As the Lions push back in defence.
Yeah, lots of Lions. More numbers for Lions back in defence now.
He goes short and fires young Odgers.
Outside the 50. That'll be a problem.
He's confident he might be able to go the distance. He's got a good raking left foot, the young fella.
It'll need to be. There's a breeze in his face, and he's gone short.
He's going to go short through the hands of his Narrandera teammate, onto Sam Martin. Back to Matt Hamlin. Gets one over the top to Ben Walsh, deep in that pocket. Dodges around Bloomfield. He's Cousin. Kicks this one high and finds Dan Foley. Chips one over the top to Shannon Butterfield. On to Connor Krebser. Showed a lot of dash on that wing there today. Goes to chip this one in forward, looking for Tom Sussey. Punch clear by Narrandera there. Hunter Crozier gets a good bump off the ball there. Play on, says the umpire. Narrandera tries to kick this back in, but it's gone out on the full there from Young Hall, and it'll be a kick to Tom Sussey there on that half forward flank in front of the ladies' tent. Kicks this one over the top and finds Sean Foley deep in the pocket there for the Lions. He'll go back and have a shot on goal.
Yeah, the Eagles were under pressure. They were going to be under pressure with that out on the full kick, and Sean Foley presented quickly to on that lead. We're right behind him. Shouldn't be a problem. Comes in on that right foot. No, goal umpire waves it, taps his shoulder early.
Drifts to the left.
Cracker Grain scoreboard. Lions 5-6, 36. Eagles 2-3, 15. 10 minutes gone, third quarter.
Luke McKay looks to bring this back in for Narrandera. Looking for his options. Going to kick this long and wide in front of the grandstand there. The one's gone high under it is Seb Hamlin. Jumps high, just can't quite hold on. It lands heavily. Picked up by Absalom there for Narrandera. Chips this one over the top there. And it's bundled over the sidelines there by Quilter.
Seb Hamlin gets up hobbling, but it might have just jarred that ankle. Andrew, I think he'd be right.
Landed awkwardly, Guy, there. Come into the game with the last week's game with a bit of a knock to that calf, but he's back on his feet now. And Luke Mackay team didn't have possession. Play on, says the umpire there. Quilter's marked this in front of the commentary box. Back to Mackay. Narrandera look to send this one in long over the back there. A scramble for this one. It's going to bounce through for a goal. And it's kicked through by his brother Lee, and it's a goal there for Narrandera.
Good play to the Eagles.
They moved that ball well.
Yep, they went right from the commentary position here. They went long and carried the pack. Looked like might go all the way, and the Eagles guy just got his toe poked for the goal.
So 2-1 in this third quarter.
Lions 5-6, 36. Eagles 3-3, 21. 11 and a half minutes gone.
Back in the centre of the ground. Peck and Hutchins in the ruck. Very hard to find really good players today, Guy, for the Lions.
Sean Longmore's having a pretty good game, Andrew.
Yep. Aaron Proctor's been pretty handy. Hutchins taps that down to Tom Powell. He swings on his right, sends this one long and high in the forward line. Coming out to meet this one is is Lee Mackay, and he'll go back. He kicked a goal in that second quarter. Going to handball us off to his brother, and he kicks this one long and high. The ball's on line. It's looking good. It's through for a goal. It's a quick one. Another one for the Narrandera Eagles.
He knew what he was doing to give it off. His brother was able to gain a couple of metres around the man on the mark. Result, goal to the Eagles.
It's game on, Guy. Game on.
Yep. Yeah, the Eagles weren't going to have a bar of the fact that the Lions thought they might sneak away in this quarter. The Eagles were up to the task. More than up to the task. Lions 5-6-36. Eagles 4-3, 27. 12 and a half minutes gone.
Up in the ruck, Hutchison Peck. Hutchison taps that down to Tom Powell. He's tackled high there. Free kick.
Over the shoulder. It'll be more Eagles attack. He's out of mountain of possession, Andrew.
No, he's been good for the Eagles today. Switches this one wide, looking for an A on that far wing. He can play on here, send this one in long and low on his trusty left foot, looking for Jack Powell. He taps one over the top there, swings one way, then the other. Gets a hand pass away to Luke McKay, back to Jamison there, and wrapped up in a tackle is Josh Walsh, and the umpire will call for a ball up. That Narrandera pocket.
Narrandera dangerous in this situation.
And the ball's punched over the sidelines there by Peck. Luke McKay appealing to the umpire for a free there.
Yeah, not
deliberate. But
umpire not buying it. We'll see the throw in front of the Gamow News Agency sign. Phil and Sharon down there in Ford Street, Gamow.
Gathered by Hutchins. Swings around his left there. But coming out to meet it strongly is Josh Walsh.
Well read by Josh. Ball fell short.
Goes short to his brother Ben there. It's a hand pass off to Sam Martin. Kicks this one long and wide. Looking for Jake Taylor on that far wing. Him and Renee race for the ball. Gathered by Taylor. Gets a hand pass over the top to Tom Sussay. Gets his kick away. Looking for Dan Foley. It's gone over the head of him and his opponent, James Smith. He's wrapped up in a tackle there. The ball spills through. Gathered by Joe Foley. Tapped back by Hunter. Crows it to Joe Foley. Chips one on his left and finds Kai Watts. Good bit of work there by young Joe Foley.
Yeah, clever tap.
Kai Watts goes back to has a shot on goal. Talking to Barry Logan before the game, Guy, and Barry related a story back, I'm not sure how many years ago, Ganmain lined up against Narrandera, Ganmain in the finals, Narrandera at the bottom of the ladder, and put in a few young players and got rolled by Narrandera and missed out on the finals.
Well, who's to say that history won't repeat itself here today, even though there's a lot of the season to go yet.
Kai Watts sends this one its way, and it's a goal to the Lions. A quick reply. Goal for goal.
We love to get those old stories, Andrew, those stories that we can keep alive and get them transferred on.
Yep. Yes, I think supporters are quite aware that this was going to be a danger game today. But even those young fellas are standing up pretty good. They've had good contributions. Just needs a few more troops to lift their game.
Yeah, we're probably lacking in some of our name players that have been amongst the best all year. They're probably lacking a little bit today, Andrew.
Yes, yep.
Of course, Tommy B is a massive loss. That's why I wanted to get his passport held up at the airport so he couldn't leave.
Yeah, as well as Zach Brain. Like, they're our two leading goal kickers at the moment.
Zach Brain here, out. Yep.
Well, not that they've kicked a lot of goals, but they're our leading goal kickers, and we've sort of got to find some other goal kickers up there. As Narrandera clear this ball out of the centre, picked up by young Hodges. To Kane Williams there, dodges around one, back to young Hodges. Swings on his left, kicks this one high. Under it is Josh Walsh, and Jack Sussay, punched down by Sussay to Ben Walsh. Swings around on his left foot, kicks this high. Under is Jacob Taylor. Coming through is Absalom. Picked up by Renee. Back inside to McKay. He gets his kick away. Ball's coming in short and low, but marked by Josh Walsh.
He's reading it well.
Clears this one out to the side there to Matt Hamlin. Finds him on that half-back flank. Chips one over the top there, looking for Jack McKegg. Finds him on that just shy of the wing. He can play on through the centre of the ground here. He takes one bounce, takes two bounces.
He'll take three.
Yes, and he's going to send this long into the forward line. It's a rubbing old kick, but it's hit the feet of Kai Watts there. Picked up by Sean Foley. Gets a hand pass out to his brother Dan. He can't pick it up. Gets one back to his brother Sean. His kick smothered there. Picked up by Shannon Butterfield. Back to Joe Foley. Gone through his hands. Gathered by Joe. Back out to Jack McKegg. It's a comedy of errors here. And Jack McKegg's wrapped up in a tackle. The umpire will ball it up.
Of course, the Foley's grandfather, Andrew, he was a legendary player for the Eagles. And I'm told he had a prodigious kick on him.
Yeah. Very good player by all reports.
That being Leo Foley, the late Leo Foley.
So a free kick here has been pulled out of this tussle. It'll go to Sean Foley. Centre half forward there. He quickly kicks this one forward, looking for Kai Watson. Diving mark taken there by Tom Sussay, and the umpire's...
late call, but the umpire paid it. I
Yeah.
think he was probably deciding whether it did hit the ground first.
Ball of mark.
A little bit of niggle there with the Eagles players. They're not disputing the umpire, but a bit of mouth between the Lions and the Eagles there in the Lions forward line. So we wait for Tom Sassay. Tom's probably been amongst one of the Lions' best, Andrew.
Yeah, he's had a good game today, Guy. He's contributed in all three quarters so far. We're looking to put this one through after his early miss in that second quarter. Comes in. Kicks on its way. Looks good off the boot. And it's hit the post. As his Narandra team opponents let him know all about it. A bit of niggle coming into the game here from young Jack Veering there. Or young Veering.
Ground manager Michael Walsh retrieves the ball. So we wait for the Eagles to kick it in. Lions 6-7, 43. Eagles 4-3, 27. 20 minutes gone. Third quarter.
Okay, it sends this one long and low and finds Jack Powell on that half-back flank there in front of the ladies' tent. He looks to come inside there. Chips one to Odgers. Kicks this one high. Under it is Ben Walsh and Hutchins there as Kane Williams flies from behind it. Marked by Ben Walsh. Comes inside to Matt Hamlin there. The Lions can switch here if they like. Kicks him long and low, looking for Joe Foley on a long lead. He marks it on his chest on that far wing.
Thought about giving it off, and then he's gone back for a kick. He'll need a lead.
Chips this one up, looking for his brother Dan there, but a good mark to Veering on that occasion. Calls his troops to just settle down. Goes wide. Finds McKay there in the pocket. As Narandra just content to hold this one up. Just take a bit of pace off the game.
Dan Foley's, the Eagles are mostly double teaming Dan Foley. Not a lot of making it tough for him, Andrew.
Mackay kicks this one wide to the wing there. Under it is Ben Walsh and Hutchins. Spoiled by Hutchins. Coming through is Narandra there to Williams. Dodges around one, dodges around two. Gets a hand pass back to Mackay. Has to kick quickly, but it's gone out off the side of his boot and it's out on the full. Lions kick.
Eagles player gets a bit of a razz there from the ladies under the tents there on the bank. So they've come alive for the third quarter. Perhaps they might spark up for the last, Andrew.
Yes, their Gammane players might need a bit more support from the crowd. As Seb Hamlin goes to bring this ball back in. Kicks this one long and high, looking for Dan Foley. He's under it and takes a good mark. Takes a juggling mark in front of James Smith there. He's 45 metres out on a
he's got had a
tight angle.
Height advantage over his one-on-one opponent on that occasion. Dan was good enough to bring it in.
They'll have to kick from 50 metres here. Kicks on its way. It's going to drift to the right into the goal square. The players fly up there. Hutchins tries to claim that mark, and he's been awarded the mark there in the goal square for Narandra. He looked to clear this ball for the Eagles. Goes wide to Veering. Just gathers that one off the ground. Kicks it wider again to Grinter. He's marked on that half back flank for Narandra. He just holds it up here. Narandra looking for an out. Being called to play on. Kicks this one wide to the wing. Under it is Quilter. Goes through his hands. Gathered by Conley. He's grabbed high, but play on, says the umpire. The ball's on the ground there. No one can pick it up. Power hand passes out the back to Jack Sussay. Tries to gather it up. Picked up by Conley. One back inside to Sam Martin. Back to Proctor. Back to Conley. Back to Foley. Jack McKeag, that is. He gets his kick away, but he's tackled as he kicks the ball, and it's out on the full, and there's a kick to Mackay there in that pocket.
So the Eagles will kick it in there, deep in the back pocket there for them, in front of that Sean Harris business out there.
Goes short to Renee there. Finds him across half-back for the Eagles there. Late in this third quarter. Comes back across ground to Veering in the goal square. He's looking for someone to pass it to. He's not getting too many leads. He's got Grintle wide. He goes short, but it's a missed kick. And he's... whoa, that's a bit of a hard throw on it down the forward line. Umpires have missed that one, but...
that'll be a costly turnover there for the Eagles if he converts this, Andrew.
Yeah, Kai Watts will have a shot on goal. 30 metres out.
I'd suggest this will be the last scoring opportunity for the quarter. As he comes in on that left foot.
Good off the boot, but yes, umpire likes it, and it's a goal. It's a goal to the Lions there. A bit of push and shove goes on in the goal square. There's a bit of feeling starting to come into the game, Guy.
Yep.
Bit of a spark.
No, I think the umpires might have paid a free kick to the Eagles, has he? Or
yes, it looks
from
like
the
it.
centre. But the goal will stand, will it? Assuming the goal stands.
Free kick from the centre.
The Lions, the Cracker Grain scoreboard, the Lions 7-7-49, Eagles 4-3-27. There's 24 minutes gone in the third quarter. Unusual one. The Eagles take a free kick in the centre after that kerfuffle in the goal square.
Yep. Most unusual as Hutchins kicks this one forward looking for Quilter. He can't gather it in. Picked up by Powell. Kick forward there by De Bruin. Smothered off the boot. Ball's on the ground there. Gathered by Odgers. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Gets his hand pass away to Powell. Deemed to be a throw. Deemed to be a throw. And it's a kick to Jack McKeag there. It's an half back for the Lions.
Lions bench appealing for 50 for a kick after the decision was handed down.
Jack McKeag kicks this one high, looking for Matt Hamlin. Bounces in front of him. Going over the back there, gathered by young Conley. Gets one off to Matt Hamlin there. Hand pass back to Shannon Butterfield. Goes
high
to come
tackle.
inside. Yeah, high tackle Guy. Shannon Butterfield's kick there on that half-back flank.
Lions will look to set up from this.
He switches it. Come back across to Ben Walsh. He's got Krebser on a lead there. Finds him across half-back on this side of the ground. He can play on if he likes. He's got room. He's got Seb Hamlin long and wide. Kicks this one high. Gone through his hands. Over the back is Jack Powell. Back to Quilter. Back to Powell. Goes to come inside there to McKay. He marks this on the wing there. Can there be a late goal here for Narandra in this third quarter? Been called to play on.
Nearly run down from behind.
Jack Powell has this now. Comes wide to Quilter.
A little bit over fussing here from Narandra with the clock might be against them now.
Quilter comes inside to Powell. Lions unable to pick up their players at the moment. Powell looks to play on here. Sends this one in long and short now, but he's found Odgers just shy of that 50. Swings around his left. Kicks this one high. Numbers for the Lions under it. Hutchins punches this ball forward. Gathered by Tom Powell there as the siren goes.
Eagles nearly proved me wrong, Andrew. They nearly had enough time, but they just mucked around a little bit out here in front of us on that wing position, and they ran out of time. And then the kick. I think the kick was signalled out on the full anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, it hit the post, Guy.
Hit the post, right. So,
yes, we're in for a very entertaining last quarter. This game's started to take a turn now.
Yeah, we've been waiting all day for a bit of spark to come into the game. The Lions sparked up early in the third quarter there, but the Eagles, to their credit, they were good enough to come back, and then a little bit of feeling came in the game. We've been waiting all day for something, Andrew, and we might have it in the last quarter. Who's to say? So commentators and cameramen will take a break, and we'll bring you the last quarter here as we watch Sam Martin marches over to his selectors. He doesn't look to be happy about something. So he'll convey the message to the Lions at the huddle. So players break from their respective three-quarter time huddles. Sam Martin had that blackboard up, Andrew, and he was trying to inspire his Lions teammates into action for this to bring this quarter out, fight this quarter out, and he'll be looking for more goals on the scoreboard.
Yes, as the umpire Alex Mann, he throws this one up. Peck and Hutchins in the ruck. Hutchins taps that down to Powell. He clears the ball out of the centre once again there for Narendra. And it's marked once again by Ben Walsh across half back there. Chips this one short, looking for Shannon Butterfield on centre wing there. Chips this one over the top, looking for Jack Sussay there. I'd say Sam Martin's told his defenders to run off that half-back flank. Chips this one over, looking for Dan Foley on a strong lead. It's gone through his hands. Picked up by James Smith there. He's wrapped up in a tackle there. And the umpires called for a ball up.
Dan Foley threw his opponent to the ground there. Not quite a sling tackle. He just sort of threw him to the ground. Disguised it a little bit, I think.
Tapped away there by Hutchins to Williams, but he can't pick it up. Ball's on the ground there, diving on it is Powell, and the ball's held up there on that half-forward flank, on that 50-metre line. Hutchins and Sean Foley in the ruck.
22-point lead to the Lions in a low-scoring, dour sort of a game here at Gammain.
Foley taps that down. Narendra opponent there wrapped up in a tackle there, and players dive on the ball once again, and the umpire will ball it up closer to the boundary line. Hutchins and Foley in the ruck. Hutchins thumps this one forward with his right to Krebser and Jamison there, but it's out over the sidelines. The umpire will throw it in.
We'll get a throw in out there in front of the DJ tyres. DJ David Jones out there at Bowman. He can fix any of your tyre problems. Does on-farm service as well.
Hutchison over the back there. Punches it forward to Jamison. Grabbed by Sam Martin there. Breaks through the tackle. Chips this one forward. Looking for Foley under it. And he takes a good mark in front of James Smith there. Swings around on his right. Chips it over the top there. Matt Hamlin's under pressure here. The ball's punched clear. Gathered by Kane Williams. He's wrapped up in a tackle there. Spills free to Butterfield. He has a snap on goal. But the umpires called it behind. Just to the right.
Butterfield getting amongst the possessions. Andrew too.
Yes, he's had a serviceable game. Shannon too, yep. Had a few good weeks in the reserves and played last week again in that winning victory over at Mangapla. As Grinter goes to bring this one in. One's one way, then the other. Clears this ball out. Under it is Krebser. He punches this ball over the back and out of bounds. And it's a throw in there on that half-back flank, that far half-back flank of the Narendra Eagles.
So I think we'll get a throw in out there in front of the sponsor there from the Gammain Hotel. I told you there before that Noel Ahern, Noel and his wife are investing plenty in the hotel, so that's good for the future. They've done up those rooms upstairs.
Peck and Hutchins in the ruck. Peck with front positions. Ball's knocked forward there. Picked up by Jamison. Kicks this one high. Under it is Matt Hamlin, but it's punched over the sidelines there by Powell.
We'll get a throw in front of Rowan Brill's sign out there. Rowan Brill with his Brill agronomy.
Peck and Hutchins in the ruck once again as Narendra creep this ever so slightly around that boundary line. Ball's on the ground there, gathered by Powell, been good today for Narendra. Ball spilled free out there, and Proctor tries to break a tackle. Back inside to Jack McKegg. He hand passes off to Sean Foley, and it's over the sidelines. Another throw in there as we creep back closer to the Lions' goals.
It's a game of inches, Andrew.
Yes, gave us centimetres, Guy. And it's, the ball's at a stalemate at the moment.
For not much result.
Ball's on the ground there, picked up by Tom Powell. He breaks through the tackles, gets a hand pass to Quilter, back to Tom Powell. Looks to run through the centre there. He's almost tackled, breaks the tackle, back to Quilter, back to Renee, gets one over the top to Bloomfield, on to Gleeson. Chips this one high. Ball's on the ground there, picked up by Van Bruin. He's grabbed a good tackle there by Nate Hamlin. Play on, says the umpire. Picked up by Jacob Taylor, gets his kick away there. Almost marked by Bloomfield. Back inside to Renee, on to Grentel. He goes to chip one over the shot, but he's miscued that one. It's out of bounds. A free kick to the Lions. Front of the ladies stand there. They still haven't sparked up, Guy.
No, I think they're saving themselves for later.
Ball's kicked back across by Jack Sussay to Josh Walsh. Looks to come inside to Jeffro Peck. He's got it there at centre half back. Looks to come back this way to Ben Walsh, who marks there just inside the centre square. Back to Pecky. He kicks this one long and high, looking for Dan Foley. Oh, he has marked that one.
Yeah, umpire paid it, yeah.
I thought it was through his hands, but he had a second grab there, and he's taken a mark. He looks to chip this one over the top, looking for Matty Hamlin in that pocket. And he'll take a shot on goal. 25 metres out on a pretty tight angle.
Well within range. The angle will be a little bit against him. There is a bit of breeze, but if Matty aims it out there to the right-hand goal post, he should be able to bring this one home for the Lions. He's deep in the far left forward pocket. Waterview Street, end of the ground. Umpire makes sure he's on the right angle. Matt Hamlin comes in. He'll give that little bit of a skip. Drop punt, right foot. No, doesn't make. Oh, mark, is it right? Mark on the line or out? Not sure.
No one's
in dispute. Goal umpire doesn't want to know about it. Boundary umpire's not sure. Lions trying to claim. No, out on the full
out on
then.
the full.
Right. Eagles will kick in front of the Coolaman Butchery sign. We haven't called them today. Nice cold weather. Get up to Coolaman Butchery and get some meat.
Jack Powell comes inside, finds James Smith across half back there for Narandra. Looks for Bloomfield wide. Finds him in front of the commentary box here.
I've done it again, Andrew, with that build-up for Matt Hamlin. No score.
Yes, it's always let us down. Jack Sussay took that one a little bit lightly there, and he's deemed to be cop one high and get the free kick. Push in the back. Goes to come inside to Ben Walsh there. Looks to send this one in long and looking for Tom Sussay there, and he makes a good mark in front of Veering. And he'll go back and have a shot on goal. Been about one of the Lions' best players today.
Yeah, he's been a four-quarter player. I think that's how the voting would go today, Andrew. You'd have to, you'd have your card and you'd have your four-quarter players will be the award winners today. This distance could test him, do you think, or you're confident?
Oh, he should make the distance, Guy. Accuracy.
He'll let go inside the 50. Coming back.
It's a good kick. Good kick.
Well called, Andrew. You know his distance. Croker Gain scoreboard sees the Lions 8-8-56, Eagles 4-3-27. 8 minutes gone in the final quarter here. Lions got that big game at Coolaman next week, so they'd Sam Martin be desperate for his side to fight this game out, continue to try to get some more goals on the scoreboard so they can have a positive week on the track for that game against the Coolaman Grasshoppers.
Yeah, well, every game in the league this year is very important, Guy, with a lot of pressure on the top five. There's 7 or 8 teams that can make the five, so you can't afford to drop anyone. And
yeah, it's great to see, really.
As Narandra win the clearance out of the centre here, and Bloomfield kicks this one forward long. It rolls over the sidelines. There'll be a throw-in in that Narandra pocket. They've been pretty handy in that centre position there. Hutchison's won a lot of the ruck the hit-outs there today, and with Powell, and Tom Powell, Jack Powell, Tom.
Yeah, they've all had good games.
Had a few clearances there. Ball falls short, punched by Peck there. Sam Longmore dives on the ball. Play on, says the umpire there. As players dive in on top of this one, and the umpire call for a ball up. On the 50 metres there, Narandra's goals. Peck and Hutchins both punch it the same way there. Ball's on the ground again. Josh Walsh is diving in, but he's wrapped up in a tackle there by two Narandra opponents, and the umpire will ball it up once again.
The tackling's not going out of it, Andrew. They're going to tackle all day.
Peck taps that one down. Kane Williams comes diving through, but he's wrapped up in a tackle there. The ball's going nowhere. The umpire calls for another ball up.
We nearly got those rugby union type scrums going again that we had a few weeks ago.
Peck taps that down to Powell. He fumbles. The ball's on the ground there. Coming in is Butterfield, and another tackle there on young Hodges. Umpire calls for another ball up. Very hard to get this one clear. Hutchins punches that one forward. Raced by Matty Hamlin there. He's gathers the ball in. Knocked out of his hands. He tries to pick it up. Gets one back to Josh Walsh. He can't pick it up. Back to Matt Hamlin. Dodges around one. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Gets a hand pass away. Back to Jack McKegg. He's kick smothered. Goes through the hands of Bloomfield. Picked up by Krebser. Dodges around one. Gets that quick hand pass to Matt Hamlin. He comes racing out of defence there. Chips one wide. He's got numbers there in Martin and Walsh. Picked up by Ben Welch. Gets his kick away under pressure. Looking for Connolly there. He marks on that wing. He's got Sam Martin running on. Gives the ball to his coach there. He looks to come back inside. Finds Matty Hamlin in the centre of the ground. He fumbles and drops it. Looks to come back inside. He goes back to Ben Walsh. Kicks long there now. Looking for Sam Martin on that half-forward flank. Wide are the Lions. Looking to bring it infield. Connolly's run on there and marked it at the half-forward flank there for the Lions. Looks to chip this one short. Looking for Tom Sussay on the lead. And he jumps and marks this one in front of his opponent. Veering. Swings around on his right. Centres looking for Sean Foley. Goes through his hands. Gathered by Bloomfield. Gets his hand passed out. Picked up by Kai Watts. No, deemed not to have possession. It's a free kick to Bloomfield there in the square for the Narandra Eagles. He'll look to clear this ball. Getting very dark here at the Gammain Sports Ground. He comes inside and finds Dale Quilter in the centre of the ground there on half-back flank for Narandra. He goes wide to Jamison.
Plenty of possessions for Quilter too, Andrew.
Yeah, no, he's had a good game for Narandra. Out to young Hodges there. Swings on his left, looking for Quilter again. He's pushed down, almost marks. He has marked on that occasion, a good mark.
Well, that's how you get possessions. You've got to run and make the play.
Working hard there on that far wing for Narandra there. Not much movement as James Smith pushes through the centre of the ground. He comes inside, finds Beale. Gets a hand pass. No, he avoids that. Goes back for his kick. He's got Van Bruin. He looks forward for Powell. He leaps at this one. Goes through the hands of Walsh and Longmore. Can't pick it up. Over the top of the ball is Jack McKegg, and gathered by Josh Walsh there. And the umpire call for a ball up in the Eagles forward line.
Eagles be desperate for a goal while they're inside their 50.
Hutchison punches that down. Over the top is Absalom. Kicked by Lyons, clear there. Marked by Ben Walsh on that half-back flank. He looks to play on quickly there. Kicks one over the top, looking for Connolly. Put it out in front of him. Gathers it in. He's wrapped up in a good, strong tackle there from Grintle. And the umpires called for a throw-in. It's gone over the sidelines.
Yeah, it was pretty hot, that ball. He didn't have enough time to get rid of it. Tackled right on the line.
13-minute mark of this last quarter. Ball's thrown up. Hutchins punches that one forward. Gathered by Van Bruin. Kicks this one high. Under it is Quilter and Walsh. Ben Walsh, but almost marked by Quilter. Grabbed by Hodges there. He kicks this one on his left. Looking for Renee. He tries to gather this one and the ball spills free. Gathered by Jack McKegg. He gets his hand pass away and it's over the sidelines. It'll be a throw-in. Deep in that pocket there for the Eagles.
Bit of a let-off there for the Lions. The Eagles look to have the numbers, but the pressure was just too great.
Renee almost got through there, but he was held up.
He appealed for the kick, but umpire not buying it.
Over the back by Peck there. Gathered by Quilter. He's wrapped up in a tackle by Proctor. Back to Butterfield. Gets a hand pass back to Ben Walsh there. Kicks this one long and wide and finds Jake Taylor on that wing there. Looks to come back inside. Kicks it low, looking for Sean Foley. Gone through his hands over the back there. Gathered by Veering. Gets his hand pass out to Grinter there. Kicks us one long. It's smothered by Proctor there. Regathers. He's got Tom Susse wide. Takes a mark there on that fast half-forward wing position.
Lions best, in my opinion.
Looks to come inside. Finds Shannon Butterfield. He's been good this last quarter too for the Lions. He's got Kai Watts deep on that half-forward flank there as the Lions work this one forward into their 50. Too far out to score. He's going to go short and low looking for Dan Foley and found him just inside the sideline on a very tight angle. I dare say he'll run around with this one.
Yeah, he's setting that run around kick up. Snaps it.
Goal umpire doesn't move.
Yeah.
He likes it. It's a goal.
Players gave that early shout. Andrew, that's the indication. Croker Grain scoreboard. The Lions 9-8-62. Eagles 4-3-27. 15 and a half minutes gone here in the last quarter.
So the Lions start to...
Just a little bit more domination, Andrew, on the scoreboard from the Lions.
Yeah, a little bit more purpose going forward. And
certainly no reflection on the Eagles' endeavour, though. The scoreboard possibly flatters the Lions a little bit. Been a great effort by this Eagles side in defence, particularly.
Yes, it's back to the centre now. Peck and Hutchins in the ruck. No one wins that one completely, but it goes forward to Tom Powell. He's wrapped up in a tackle there. The ball's on the ground there. Coming through is Matt Hamlin, and he's wrapped up in a tackle. Over the shoulder, it's deemed to be, and a free kick to Matt Hamlin in the centre of the ground there. He goes wide looking for Sam Martin. He's got plenty of room in front of him. He chips one over the top looking for Jake Taylor. He can run on, finds Tom Susse. Good movement by the Lions, and he's 40 metres out on a tight angle there.
Our man, Tom Susse again.
Distance, not a problem.
Narendra possibly tiring a little bit, Andrew, now.
Yes, as we get into the 18th minute mark of this last quarter. Scoreboard pressure. This one's going to go high into the goal square. Under it is Dan Foley, but he can't gather that one in. And the umpire's deemed to be out over the boundary line. Hit the post, hit the point post, and it'll be a throw-in.
So the throw-in down there will be directly in front of where Mark Bradley sponsors the Lions. Mark Bradley, plumber from Coolaman. So any plumbing issues, contact Mark Bradley.
Ball comes in, tapped over the back by Sean Foley, gathered by Hunter Crozier. He's wrapped up in a tackle there, and the umpire call for a ball up, 15 metres out, directly in front of the Gairmain goals. Sean Foley and Hutchins in the ruck. Sean Foley taps this down to charging through Aaron Proctor, but he can't hold on to it, and Kane Williams is wrapped up in a tackle, another ball up. A lot of numbers around this ball. No one in the forward 50 for Narendra. Everyone's pushed up. Ball's knocked down to Shannon Butterfield there. He tries to charge through. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Deemed to be caught with the ball. And free kick to Narendra there. We go to Tom Powell. He chips this one over the top. Finds Grinter. No, finds Hall, sorry. He's got the ball there. Goes to switch. Back across to Mackay. He's got it in the pocket there. Looking to bring this out of defence. Narendra working this out, chipping it away there. Williams comes back inside to Powell. He's got Mackay running through the defence there. Kicks this one long and low, looking for Quilter. They're out now. On to Renee. One over the top to Grinter. Kicks this one down. His kick goes astray and finds Josh Walsh in that half-back pocket.
He had pressure on him, Andrew, just as he kicked, and that influenced the kick.
They moved it that quickly then. They didn't have options when they got to the forward line. He was in two minds, but anyway, 50-metre penalty now, and Shannon Butterfield will take this ball down and kick it deep into the Lions forward line. Looks for Ben Walsh wide. This one's gone high, but Ben's marked it in front of Absalom. Looks to swing around on his left. Now he plays on, kicks this one high, looking for Jake Taylor. He wasn't sure whether it was meant for him, but he takes a good, strong mark. Under a lot of pressure there, and he'll go back and have a shot on goal.
Yeah, strong mark from Ben Walsh there on that half forward. Andrew, it was never under question. Another very serviceable game from Ben Walsh.
Yes, he's been good today. Wasn't his best game last week, but he's returned to good form today as Jake Taylor kicks a very good goal from that pocket. As the Lions start to put this game away.
Yeah, a little bit more scoreboard pressure now from the Lions. 11-8-74, Eagles 4-3-27. Eagles were very good for 3 quarters. Lions skipped away now. 20 minutes gone in the last. Sam Martin be a little bit more happy as we build to that. They'll have a week to build for that game at Coolaman. Traditional rivals, the Lions and the Hoppers.
They should get a few players back for next week's game, and
Coolaman Club be looking to a good gate on the day.
Peck and Hutchins in the ruck. Alex Manley throws this one up. Hutchins wins the tap down to Powell there. Back to Jamison. On to Van Bruin there. Picked up by Jack McKegg though. He's wrapped up in a tackle. The umpire called for a ball up.
Pretty gloomy afternoon now, Andrew, as the sun fades. Well, there was no sun really.
Peck taps that one down. Free kick to Matt Hamlin there for a hold. He'll take possession there. Chips this one wide, looking for Sean Foley. Marks that ball. 65 metres out. Kicks this one looking for his brother Dan. He's held on to. He appeals to the umpire. Play on, he says. Jake Taylor gathers this one in and tries to kick a banana kick across goal that goes and out of bounds.
Yeah, Lions bench there, not happy with the umpire, and that pretty sure Dan Foley was held in that marking contest. Never mind, it's still in the Lions area.
Ball's thrown in. Dan Foley tries to kick that out of the air. Coming through as Hutchins. Butterfield's wrapped up in a tackle, goes out the back to Mackay. Clears this one long and high with a big drop punt out in front of Nate Hamlin. He gathers this ball in. He can come back inside to his cousin Matt. He marks it. He can switch to Jack Sasse. Kicks this one long and low and finds Sean Foley on the lead there. But he's going to have to kick this from 55.
Test him, Andrew. No, he's going to give it off.
Looking for Hunter Crozier short on a lead there.
Good lead, and the pass was spot on too. Hunter Crozier will kick from, a little bit 42 or 3, I'd guess.
Kick's gone high under the square there. Charging out is Dan Foley. Tries to gather this one in. Picked up by Tom Susso to Jack McKegg. Runs around one. Tries to get his kick away. Back over his shoulder. But marked by Mackay on the goal line there for the Eagles.
Jack loves those ones, Andrew. He's just under too much pressure to get a good kick at it.
Yep. Ball comes out to Powell. Back to Mackay. Running out of defence there. Does an old barrel long looking for James Smith. Tussle there between him and Jack Susse. He taps this ball forward. Kicked off the ground by Absalom and it races out over the sidelines there for a throw in.
So it'll be a throw in late in the game there in front of the Ag and Vet sponsors. Ag and Vet, Waterview Street, Ganmain, and also got that shop at Grong Grong. Rucks will set themselves. A few hands on hips around the ground.
Peck and Hutchins in the ruck. That one falls short. Hutchins taps it forward to Jack Powell. On to Rene. He kicks this one long and high, but it's out on the full. So
it'll be a free kick to the Lions down there deep in the back pocket. Matt Hamlin elects to take it across the ground this time. It's on for the runners.
Kicks it out to Josh Walsh, onto his brother Ben there. Kicks this one long, looking for Jake Taylor. Goes over his head, gathered in by Hunter Crazy there. He can't quite hold it, and it's out over the sidelines for a throw-in.
So we'll have a throw-in in front of the Gammane Bakery sign. They make those famous Gammane pies down there in the main street at Gammane. Also make their own bread, which is great for a little town. It's all over here at Gammane Sports Ground. The quarters haven't gone long all day, and the last one didn't either.
Yes, so again, they didn't reach any great heights, Guy. The Lions have come out in front, 10-8-68 to 4-3-27. I'll be happy to get the win, but probably not pleased in the way they went about it.
Yeah, I guess the win's a win, but after with some major outs for the Lions and blooding three debutants, Andrew, they all performed pretty well, and as the game went on, some of the more named players that weren't so good in the first half for the Lions, they stepped up and contributed to that Lions win, I reckon.
Yeah, like Tom Sussay had a good game, and Aaron Proctor, Shannon Butterfield, Connor Krebser, Ben Walsh was good there across half-back once again. And for Narendra, Luke Mackay, Jack and Tom Powell were very good for them.
Yep. Oh, Narendra, their defensive game was very good the whole game. They're probably just lacking as a lot of sides do this year, we're probably lacking a known forward,
a key target,
traditional spearhead, as it were, and
yes,
they're pretty scarce in bush footy, as we know. So Lions have multiple scorers, but a bit as the game went on, Andrew, I think Sam Martin be a little bit pleased that Lions a bit more run and something to work on this week as in the build up to the game at Coolaman.
Well, they'd be happy to get through the game with no injuries and as said, get a few back. It was great to see Jacob Olsen running around in the reserves today, so that's someone they can certainly look at for next week, and it would give them a target up forward.
Yeah, desperate
in the ruck.
Desperate for a target up forward, the Lions. Take some pressure off those multiple goal kickers. Anyway, that's about all we can say here from the Gammane Sports Ground. We've got a break from the home games here from Gammane, so I believe we're not back here till Sunday the 2nd of June, so when the Lions take on the Tigers here at Gammane Sports Ground. So there will be no broadcasts from football coming from Baz from Gammane till Sunday the 2nd of July. Andrew, that's the way I read the program as the Lions players come into the rooms, and of course tonight they'll head up to the club for the awards, and the importantly the AFL, the Lions AFL girls will have their presentation night tonight, and I think they've saved themselves a little bit, Andrew, and they'll spark up for that, I reckon.
I certainly will, guys. Certainly will. So we'll see you back here in a few weeks against Wagga Tigers, which should be a great game.
Thanks a lot, Andrew. Thanks for calling the game.
Thank you.